Sports Minutes with Raushan.
I believe I'm the right man. This is the reason, and I decide to step up. I understand this is a huge commitment, and this is a long-term commitment. I will try my best.
Well, that was FAS President Forrest Li outlining his commitment to the cause of resurrecting Singapore football. And this is Raushan coming to you with a special edition of Sports Minutes, recapping what went down at the FAS Media Day, which was held in conjunction with Li's 100th day in office as president. Amongst the matters on the agenda were youth development, the Singapore men's national team and the Singapore Premier League. But the big news that broke during the event was the SNOC's omission of the men's under-22 football team from the provisional list for the first batch of athletes and teams selected for the year-ending SEA Games. The first setback for Forrest and his team? Not quite, according to Mr. Li.
Number one, I think it's not decided yet. My understanding is not decided yet. It's like not we are just football is not qualified for the first batch of the sports who can represent Singapore in SEA Game. So that's why we work very, very closely with the decision like a committee and with all the stakeholders, and we still have a decent chance. That's why I'm at this moment, and I'm very, very hopeful. And I think all the stakeholders also understand it's important for our fans to see football in this game, and this provide a tremendous development opportunity for our young footballers. Yeah, so we will keep trying. But if it's not happened, do I take it as a setback? I mean, well, I'll be disappointed, and I do hope and we can participate in the SEA Game. But the decision is a decision to reflect what we have done in the past, and this is more like a motivation to make sure we work harder and to continually try to make sure we can qualify for the next SEA Game. And more important, I think in 4 years, and Singapore will be the host, right? And there will be how cool it could be if we can win a SEA Game medal for football on our homeland.
More to come from the President regarding his credentials and the search for Sutomo Ogura's successor later in the show. But first, let's switch our attention to the Singapore Premier League, which is set to kick off in about 2 weeks. Leading the charge on that front is Council member Bruce Liang, and I managed to sit down with him on the sidelines of the event to discuss issues surrounding the lack of a title sponsor heading into the new season, the quality of refereeing as a whole in our domestic league, and the mooted improvements to the broadcast we can expect in the campaign ahead.
Thank you so much for joining me, Bruce. Thank you for the comprehensive update on the Singapore Premier League. I guess fans are excited about the start, but there are question marks in terms of the title sponsors. AIA have historically been the league's title sponsors. News has emerged that they are not going to be part of the league sponsorship next season. What's the update on that?
Yeah, indeed, AIA has decided not to continue the sponsorship. There's a little bit of impact with that, but it's quite manageable. First and foremost, the amount that the sponsorship is actually not very significant compared to the size of our funding requirements. And so we think we should be able to find alternate sponsors to cover that. But more importantly, regarding sponsorship and funding, we need to take probably quite a fresh approach on how FAS would do it. I think more importantly, we want to connect with potential partners who connect with our cause. So our cause is about bringing joy and pride to Singaporeans, to community, and also improving, communities' happiness through football activities as well. So on that front, we'll be looking for sponsors who believe in their cause. We'll be looking significantly at local companies, because that's on the community. But apart from those big local companies, we'll also be looking at MNCs who also believe in that cause and sports as well. Naturally, companies with a huge B2C kind of business will be natural targets that we look for. At the same time, we also do not want to underprice the value of the SPL product, which I think is the premium product for Singapore football. So we have actually will be focused on different tiers of partnerships. Depends on for different entry levels for different sponsors to come in at different levels. But we also don't want to undersell ourselves as well, because that's not fair to football as well in Singapore.
Bruce, if I can ask you this, how much of a chicken and egg situation is that? Because a big part of what your committee is trying to achieve is to spruce up the league, is to make it more viable as a product. Yet here you are saying you don't want to undersell it. So how difficult is that to balance?
This is a very good question. The initial group of partners that will come in will be partners who are, I call them like the incubators. So they inject some funding to get a product up to a higher level, by which after that we can attract more partners and sponsorships, to support the cause as well. So we have a list of targets about who those incubators might be, and typically those partners they do sponsorships on a recurring basis for a long run as well, but they are very involved in community activities. So we are looking at those partners, and as a last resort as well, we will also rely on the council's business network connections for some initial seed funding to get the product going. Yeah.
Bruce, I love the jargon you're using, right? Incubators and everything else that you mentioned. That comes with the territory of your day job, I guess. And is that the acumen we are going to see from this exco that will set it apart from the predecessors?
To a large extent. In fact, if you understand the new council's plans, there aren't many big and bold statements or changes, right? But what we are absolutely focused on the logic of doing things, and relentless execution to do it well, and that you can say is heavily related to our day job because that's what we do for a living. But I think these are the things that will actually move the needle. So it's not many big strategic moves, but just doing things right, get the logic right, and do it right.
One big change you've made is the change to the foreigner rule this year. Plenty has been said about that. Let's not talk about that. I want to talk about the quality, which the foreigners you hope have an impact, right? My question is, the refereeing has an impact on the quality of the league as well. Years gone by, I mean, it's easy to criticize the referee. Fans do that all over the world, right? But I think you'll be the first to admit that refereeing standards in the Singapore Premier League can be improved, and fans are keen to find out what is this new council going to do to address those issues.
I think first and foremost, within the council, we have a council member, council members who are focused on improving the refereeing, officiating quality. To be honest, I think we are quite lucky. We have a decent group of local referees so far. They can power things, but as intensity of matches increase, as quality of players increase, refereeing quality also constantly have to improve as well, so that we get better, more play time, better decisions, more decisive decisions as well. So this council members who are focusing on that will be looking at quite a number of things. One is what are the best practices in terms of referee, so how do we actually uplift that locally, and on top of that as well. We'll be studying to the possibility of injecting certain foreign referees as well in certain competitions or matches to set a benchmark as well, and so that local referees can also learn from it as well. So we look at, just like foreign players, we also look at potentially having some foreign referees as well to set a benchmark so the locals can learn at the same time.
And a follow-up to that, I know part of the plans is the SPL2 for the local boys to get some minutes, right? Years gone by, I've heard that maybe there are not enough game time for referees as well. Is the idea behind the SPL2 a chance for referees to gain some real-life experience, stress test them maybe?
Certainly. I think currently right now is just SPL, and below that is the COE, U21 league and so on. But with SPL2, these are the actual SPL clubs, reserve squad playing. So the intensity, the quality will be higher and better as well. And the players are also more smarter as well, right? So definitely the demands on referee will be much higher than the U21 league. These players are seasoned professionals in there as well. So this is also a good thing, not just for players' development, but you're right, for referees' development as well.
And my final question to you, Bruce, is I take great pride in being that bridge between people like you and the fraternity and the fans, right? The broadcast plays a key part in what the fans watch week in, week out. You mentioned there are going to be improvements to that. Is there anything you can sort of tease to the fans in terms of what they can expect when the league kicks off in about 2 weeks?
To be honest, it's still a bit too early. We are looking at, again, to learn from better competitions like AFCs as well. So we are actually consulting actively about what is the specs, to run a better competition. And in fact, sailors have a little bit of experience of that from the ACL2 finals. So we are actually looking at those specifications and to see how to inject it into it. Of course, we need a bit of funding to support that as well. Yeah.
I guess it all comes full circle in terms of funding as well as going up a notch. Bruce, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
So evidently plenty in the in tray for this new ex-coach to take on, from sprucing up the league to appointing a new national team head coach. And to that end, Forrest Li has arrived at the head of the table with a proven track record.
When we think about Forrest Li, we think about the Lion City Sailors, we think about Shopee, two successful entities, right? For you, is that then pressure, or is that then proof that you are indeed the right man to sort of resurrect Singapore football?
Well, I believe I'm the right man. Yeah. So and this is kind of the reason, and I decide to step up. And this is I understand this is a huge commitment, and this is a long-term commitment, and I will try my best. And I think but to make this happen is beyond any individual's capability, and even you have a Superman here, things may not go with the way. So that's why it's so important, and we unite all the stakeholders, right? And specifically, I think the fans, the public, media, right? And that's why we have this event, and we don't be very, very transparent to share what's in our mind, and eventually we hope everybody work together, right, to make this happen. I mean, as for football, as a small country, we have a lot of a challenge, right? And in terms of how much the population size we can pick talents, right? And we have the challenge as we don't have our land is a very, very precious resources, and we cannot have many pitches for football. But I think we also have a unique advantage because of we are small, we are very close, and very a supporting community, and we can just have the one force. Everybody can work together to really push through and to achieve a great result.
For us, one of your big decisions will be the hiring of the next national team manager. You mentioned earlier you want that hire to get people speaking at their dinner tables, get families speaking, but you also said it should be a good fit. How then do you balance both? Do you go for a big name, or do you go for the best fit?
Well, I mean, people talk about it doesn't mean it's a big name, right? And I think increasingly, if we continue to do well, right, and for the current group stage competition, and say if we have a good result for the India game, I think it's that is already, people will talk about it, to follow what's happening with the national team and pay more attention to who will be the national team coach. I think I just use the national team coach as example, but eventually what I hope is people really care, and football become a part of people's daily life, and it become a regular family dinner table topic. I think that will be a win for whoever care about the football. So for that part, I do need your guys' help. Yeah.
Thank you, Forrest.
And so the search goes on and the wait goes on. My biggest takeaway from the media day, well, the vision and vigour is clear. Now we await the execution. For Sports Minutes, this has been Ziaul Raushan.
Sports Minutes on Money FM 89.3.